Hey folks, I am back. This is UTB Brad with UTB Blogs, and it is the day of the BlackBerry KEY2 reviews. I'm here. I've got my BlackBerry t-shirt on. I've got my BlackBerry KEY2, but I'm not quite ready to do a full review yet. I've only had the phone a few days. I got it a little bit late here, and I haven't really been able to run through everything. I don't think it would be quite fair for me to give a full review. I mean, I just couldn't do it. So instead of me sitting here and making stuff up, I'm just going to give a first impressions. I'm going to give a few things I love, a few things I hate, and a few things I think they could do just a little bit different. First impressions of the BlackBerry KEY2. Let me just start off by saying I love this phone, but I was really iffy about it in the beginning because I am a huge fan of the BlackBerry KEYone. Looking at the KEYone, I really think that phone, I felt like it was designed for me. I just love that phone. I've said it numerous times that was my favorite BlackBerry to date. The design of the phone, everything on that phone was just perfect to me. And when we saw the first renders of the KEY2, if you recall, they were in black and you really couldn't see much. And all I really saw was that the things that I loved on the KEYone was missing. The frets between the keys were gone. The rounded edges were gone. So much of what I loved on that KEYone was just gone. And I was really afraid that BlackBerry Mobile was taking a step back and losing some of that quality construction. Well, then the second set of renders came out. The second set of renders were in silver. And then you could see what BlackBerry Mobile was doing. And what they were doing was really paying homage to the BlackBerry Passport Silver Edition. I mean, you can't look at this phone and not see the BlackBerry Passport Silver Edition. All the design cues are there. And really, what BlackBerry Mobile did was take a step back. I was afraid they were going to take a step back, and they did take a step back. But they took a great step back. They took a step back to what I thought was one of the nicest design phones that BlackBerry has done. So as far as the overall look and feel of this phone, I absolutely love it. I really do. It kept the footprint of the KEYone, and the design of the BlackBerry Passport SE. It is a great combination, a wonderful combination. So let's look at a few things I love. As I said, I've only had this phone for a few days, and already there are a couple of things that are just leaping out at me. From the moment I opened the box, from the moment I held this in my hand, there's one particular thing that amazed me and shocked me and just made all the difference in the world. And that, of course, is the BlackBerry keyboard, the BlackBerry KEY2 keyboard. You know, when they had their release party and they showed off the phone, one of the things that they said was that they looked at the BlackBerry Bold for inspiration. And feeling this keyboard is wonderful. It is by far and without a doubt my favorite keyboard on a BlackBerry phone ever. It looks a lot like the Passport keyboard as far as the design and the structure of the frets, the BlackBerry Passport SE, but it doesn't feel like that at all to me. It feels like your old favorite BlackBerry Bold, not out of the box, but after about 3 months after you've had that keyboard just perfectly broken in. That's what it feels like to me. And I love typing on this keyboard. It is incredibly inviting to me. I use BBM Desktop a lot to chat with my friends and in the groups, and I find myself, since getting this phone, I'm not using the desktop as much. I'm reaching for the phone. It just feels that good. The second thing that jumps out at me is something that kind of surprised me, and that is the speed key, which is the new feature of the BlackBerry keyboard. The the new edition, the first edition that we've seen on the BlackBerry keyboard in a decade or so. And that speed key, when we first heard it was described, one of the things that kept being said was, this is a game changer. And then when I heard what the speed key actually does, it kind of made me wonder how much of a game changer that could really be. Because, you know, we've had shortcuts on BlackBerries for a long time, and realistically, I've never used the shortcuts. I've tried. There's times on the KEYone that I was going to force myself to use those shortcuts because they are efficient, and I know a lot of people love them. I just never got into the workflow of it. I would hit my app drawer and start typing in the app I wanted and hit it there, just like on BB10 where you'd type without hitting the app drawer and open it. That's just the workflow I'm used to. With the speed key, I find myself actually using it because you can jump from app to app from inside the apps, and it doesn't seem like much of a gain because you could just hit the circle before and hit your speed or hit your shortcut if you wanted. This just feels different. I don't know. As someone that's never really used shortcuts before, to suddenly be using them because of that speed key, I think it says a lot. There's another thing I really love that I discovered because of the speed key, and I knew it was going to be there on Oreo. It's not something that should have shocked me, but the first time it happened, it really shocked me, and I was very excited about it. And that is the picture-in-picture. I was in the YouTube app, I was watching a video, I hit the speed key to go to a different app, and the YouTube video shrunk down and kept playing on top of that other app. Now, explaining this to a buddy in one of our BBM groups, his initial response is, that's a gimmick. And in all honesty, I could see someone saying that's a gimmick. I could see someone that's not really wanting to move on to a new phone calling that a gimmick. It's something that I might have done in the past. But I can tell you it is truly efficient, truly useful, something that I have been using a lot. In our BBM groups, we have friends that share YouTube videos quite often. And I'm in the middle of a chat and I don't want to stop in the chat and go and watch the video. So what I'll generally do is I'll click the link, I'll go see what the video is about, may watch a few seconds of it, then go back to the chat. Now with this picture-in-picture that's part of the Android Oreo, I can just continue watching the video while I'm staying in the chat. I really love that. So how about a few things I hate? There's not a few things I hate, and that should come as no surprise to anybody that knows me. I love BlackBerry, but I will say there is something that I do hate, which is kind of shocking for me to say, and it's really odd and something that shouldn't bother me so much. What it is the headphone jack. Now, I love the headphone jack. I'm so thankful BlackBerry Mobile has not got rid of the headphone jack. Please don't ever do that, folks. But the headphone jack is off center. It's off to the side. Who thought that was a good idea? Come on, guys. A lot of us out here have a little touch of OCD, I'm speaking for myself, and that just really sets me off. I'm trying to teach myself not to ever look at the top of this phone. But come on. Next time, can't we just get that a little centered like on the KEYone, please? So how about a few things that I don't hate, but I kind of wish they were improved upon? Because I have a couple of those. And one of those happens to be part of what I like most about this phone. And that is part of the keyboard. And I just wish it was just a little brighter. It's a backlit keyboard, just like we're always used to having, and you'll have no problem seeing the major letters on your keyboard. Don't get me wrong there. I have no issues with that. But I am somebody that uses my phone at nighttime. I'm someone that uses my phone in the dark and in the day and all these other places where I'm probably not supposed to use my phone, but I do. And in the dark, it is just a tad bit hard to see the Alt characters on the keys. And really, that's the only time I'm ever really looking at my keyboard. I know where my keys are. I don't look at my keyboard to type, but there's plenty of times where I'm looking for an Alt character that's just not in my muscle memory, and I'll stop and I'll look. And in the dark, I have a bit of a problem seeing that. So I don't know if that's something that could be somehow corrected. It could be just a hardware issue that this is as bright as this keyboard can get. And if it is, that's fine. That isn't enough to make me dislike the phone in any way. It's just something that I wish was a little better. There's another issue with the keyboard that I heard a YouTuber, Erica Griffin, as I think is her last name, bring up, and that was the difference in sound between the space bar and the rest of the keys. And it's one of the first things I looked at when I did my unboxing video. And yes, it sounds different. And when I did my unboxing video, I didn't think it would be much of an issue for me at all. It's still not much of an issue, but I will say I notice it. I've noticed it in two different ways. And the two different ways I've noticed it is, number one, sometimes while I'm typing, I'll think about it. And it gets me wondering if this is something that people are going to complain about somewhere. And knowing our community and knowing how picky we are, I guarantee you there will be people that complain about it. Now, I'm not someone that's going to complain about it. In fact, in a really weird sort of way, I kind of like it. And I'll admit that's weird. But what it does is, as I'm typing, and as I'm generally typing fast and furiously, it kind of builds up a bit of a cadence. You type, 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 and then space, type, 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 space, and you build up a cadence, and it kind of urges me along to type a little bit faster. It reminds me, if you're old enough to remember typewriters, if you ever watch like the old movies where you had roomfuls of women sitting there typing and hitting the carriage return and ding, 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 that's kind of what it reminds me of. You type your stuff, you hit the space, same thing as getting to the end of a line on a typewriter and hitting that carriage return. It's really weird that I really kind of like it. But I can imagine there will be people out there that will complain and will have a problem with it. So I'm prepping myself for that. I don't know why it sounds different. Probably has something to do with the fingerprint sensor that's inside. It's not an issue for me. I just kind of wish it wasn't like that so that we wouldn't get any kinds of complaints on it in the future. A second thing that I wish was done a little bit differently, and I'm really hoping an update comes along to make that happen, goes back to another of my favorite things on this phone, which is the speed key. The speed key operates by pressing down the speed key and hitting your shortcut button. It works great. You can now jump between apps without going back to your home screen just by using your shortcuts, and it's all the shortcuts. You can set up the short press shortcuts and the long press shortcuts, and it works with the speed key. It's beautiful. But this keyboard, again, is wonderful and great, and as great as it feels to type on it with two hands, it works really well to type one-handed. You have no problem typing one-handed with this phone. This is a one-handed phone for those of you that like to use your phone one-handed, except for the speed key, because you have to press the speed key along with the other button. That's going to take your other hand. What I'd like to see is change that to where we can hit the speed key and then the button. If we could make that happen, we would make a lot of one-handed BlackBerry users very happy. So as I said, I just wanted to do a quick rundown, a quick first impressions video of my KEY2, and I don't want to get too involved in it. I hit on a few topics that I love, one topic that I hate, and a few that I kind of would like to see done a little better. I plan on coming back and doing a lot more. I'm really not intending to do a full review for a couple reasons. First reason, nobody wants to sit there and watch me speak for a long time. The second reason, nobody wants to read a wall of text from UTB Brad. So instead, I plan on doing a series of these posts, a series of these videos, touching on each little topic. So let me know what you want to see in upcoming videos. I kind of have a general idea of where I'm going in the next few videos, but what you want to see after that. I know the camera is going to be one of those things, and I'll apologize to you right now. I'm not much of a photographer, but I am going to review the camera. I am going to get out there and take photos. I won't be taking selfies, but we'll see what we can do. I'll tell you right now that any of the snapshots I've taken, I've been very happy with. I've had no issues with the camera so far, but again, I'm not a photographer. So this has been UTB Brad with UTB Blogs with a quick first impressions of the BlackBerry Mobile KEY2. Love this phone, and I'll see you next time.